Hey guys, so my name's Corey Austin, and I'll get into shortly kind of the reason for this video and kind of the purpose behind it. I first just want to say I've been dabbling in YouTube and content creation for a while. I've always in my past, at some point, I've always created. I've been into creating, editing. I've, written, produced, composed music in my past. I've done video editing for, just Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, just whatever. Something I've always kind of been into is, using my creative juices to do stuff like that. But, nothing ever really hit off too big for me because, I'm guilty of being one of those guys that I dabble in things, and I'm the quintessential jack of all trades, but a master of none. I've tried a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Wait, that's a song. Little bit of this, little bit of that. Anyway, don't even let me. Don't just stop, dude. So I've tried a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but I've never stuck with, for a long period of time, one specific thing. So my success in YouTube and other platforms has been minimal. And I think in part that's due to the fact that I kind of jump around. I can't decide what it is I want to sink my teeth into and stick with. And but I figured that one thing that I could talk about that is something that's real to me and that has really affected my life, and it is kind of a taboo subject that I think a lot of people deal with and a lot of people struggle with, but it's something that overall the consensus is folks are ashamed to talk about. And I'm just going to say it, drug use. Is something that people are, for the most part, just kind of ashamed to talk about, and myself included. It's one of those things where, I'm actually probably risking some things going and doing this, and kind of starting to detail some of my history with drug use, because I'm a professional. I work a professional career. I get paid a good salary. I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not rich, but I have a college degree. I've been a teacher in the public school system. That's not what I do now, but I get paid a professional salary. I'm a good employee. I'm a husband. I'd like to think a very good husband. I'm a father. I'd like to think I'm a good father. So when someone, let me expand on that. I stay in shape. I'm healthy. I exercise. And all of this I've done throughout the years with maintaining some level of addiction to various things. And this is kind of a diary, almost confession sort of series, and I'll outline as I go through all of this. I'll tell some stories, and I'll talk about, the different drugs that I have dabbled in, ones that I've not really dabbled in, and but I just want to talk about it, and I think a lot of people want to hear about it, to be honest, because let's get real. It's a major problem in our country, and kids are starting with experimenting with drugs younger and younger and younger. Plus now there's things like, vape shops and, what they call the head shops, where you can go and get a whole plethora of different things and different substances that have fallen through the cracks of the FDA, or that the FDA has not been able to catch up to so far. And of course there's business opportunists who are expanding on those things. You got anything from the Delta 8, which is basically legal weed. Let's get real. I've tried it, and there was times where it got me more high than any weed has ever gotten me. So it's one of those things where it's probably a loophole that is inevitably going to be filled. When that's going to be filled, I don't know, but it's got to, because if well, let me rephrase that. If it doesn't, then ultimately what's going to happen is they're going to have to legalize weed, because you can't have something like marijuana, which grows naturally out of the earth. And I just want to say right out of the gate, I'm a proponent for it being legalized. If alcohol is legal, marijuana should be legal. Let's just get real, because alcohol is far worse on so many levels. Not only the devastation that it can cause to the body and to families, and alcoholism, but I mean, how many folks are killed and involved in accidents yearly involving people who are inebriated? And I'm not saying a person who's high on weed can't cause an accident, but it's not nearly as prevalent, and there's a reason that you don't hear about it the same way. So anyway, already kind of getting off on a tangent, but Delta 8 is not natural. It's synthesized, and I've taken some of the Delta 8 gummies, one of the extracts a couple of times, and I was almost terrified. And granted, I'm not a person who smokes, marijuana all the time. For me, it's a few times a month. Literally, I might smoke it 3-4 times in 1 month. It's like a weekend sort of thing for me. I have the kind of job where I have a lot of responsibility. I can't just, get high throughout the day. It's just not something I am able to do, nor do I want to do as a 46-year-old professional. But it's rare that I use it. But let me just say that drug use is a huge, massive problem in our country for young folks. And it's one of those things that I think people just don't know how to talk about it. But anyone who has any issues with addiction and who uses something on a regular basis that affects you in a negative way, and that you've received negative consequences because of that drug, because of that medication, whether that be you lost a job, you had a car accident, you lost your license, you lost a relationship with your family, maybe your family doesn't trust you, or you've just downright, done mean things to people, and you can attribute those negative consequences to a specific drug or a specific medication or whatever it is that you're taking. If that's you, then you probably want to hear this, and you probably want to follow this channel, because I'm about to unload something that I've never done, people. Never done. I've never gotten onto the internet and just divulged of some of the things that I've been through, and that I've put other people through related to my drug use. So I think it's fair to say that some of this is therapy for me, but more than that, and a lot of times people who are addicted, and people who, and I'm just going to say, if you're an addict, you're an addict. I'm an addict. I will say I'm a functioning one for the most part, but I'm definitely an addict, and there are a lot of people out there that are. But for people who are addicts, we understand that, an addict is not always somebody you see on the street. Hey man, you got any more of that, and you're homeless, and you don't have a job, you don't have a car, you're standing on the street corner and tattered clothes, and looking unhealthy, and that is a misconception that people who have never had an issue with addiction look at people who and when they think of a drug addict, these are the things they think of the sensationalized things that you see in the movie. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Basketball Diaries, Leonardo DiCaprio. I might be dating myself a little bit because it's kind of an older movie, but he gets addicted to H. You know what that is. He gets addicted to that in the movie. or the movie Ray, you know, and you see what these people go through and what they become as a result of the drug that they're doing. And a lot of times that's the conception, that's the perception that people get about a drug addict, and it's just not true. You know, there are people that hide it and maintain it a lot better than others. I would probably fall into that category. And I'm sure if you went and asked, you know, other than my really, really close family, and, you know, maybe my brother and my wife and my parents, you ask anybody outside of that tiny circle, people will probably be shocked, to be honest with you, if they heard some of the things I've done and some of the things that I've done in my past. So, point being, it is somewhat therapy for me talking about this, but also people who are drug addicts, and if you are a drug addict and you're watching this, you know exactly where I'm coming from. We're not bad people. We don't wish any ill will on anyone. It's the disease that causes people to do things to hurt other people and stuff like that. And I'm going to talk about all those things. I'm going to talk about being blackout drunk when I was a 13-year-old kid for the first time. I'm going to talk about the time I smoked my first cigarette. I'm going to talk about the first time I smoked marijuana. I'm going to talk about the first time I did cocaine. I'm going to talk about the first time I took pain pills, and then the path of destruction that led me down in my late 20s and early and mid 30s. I'm going to talk about, you know, my handful of experiences with things like, you know, I guess I can say these things. I don't want to get the video shadow banned before I really even start, but the things that cause you to trip, like, you know, what do you call them? Hallucinogens. That word's always been a tongue twister for me. I'm going to talk about those things, and I hope it helps someone, you know. And if you are a person who's struggling with addiction out there, you understand that you still want to help people as an addict, you know, and because we're addicted to drugs does not mean we're a person that doesn't have a heart or sensitivity and compassion for others, you know. And as I'm getting to a point in my life where I'm starting to see that the better way is sobriety, and I'm still not completely sober. I'm going to talk about that too. There's still some things that I'm currently working on, and one of those is Kratom. And for about the past 2.5 years now, I've been taking Kratom, and I've come to understand that that's pretty much been an opioid relapse for me. And I'm not completely out of it. I'm still taking it now, and I'm at a place where I'm wanting to start tapering down off of it so that I can, you know, eventually get off of it altogether. But I'm going to talk about that as well. I'm going to talk about all these things. And I'm sure I'm probably going to get some comments. There's going to be some people jump in my comments and tell me I should be doing this. I should be going to meetings every day. I should be doing, you know, and that's fine. You're going to be wasting your breath, because I'm going to, this is a discussion about me, my life, where I've been, where I'm at currently, and how I'm going to go about this, and how I'm going to, you know, get to where I need to be. Is kind of my own personal journey and my own personal test to see, you know, what the reality is for me, in terms of being able to kick the habit, you know, that I'm on. And I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about some things that I've never talked about before in front of people, and I'm going to talk about some things that are probably going to make people really, really judgmental of me. And that is a thought, if I'm being completely honest, that terrifies me, because I'm a very, very private individual, and I'm not the type of person to sit down and talk to a bunch of strangers about something, especially something so personal to me about my relationship and my past relationship with drugs. And so I'm posting this video. If I get some responses where people say, hey man, you know, I'm listening, go ahead, let's hear it. You know, I have some struggles as well. I want to hear what you got to say. You know, I've subscribed. You know, I'm a returning customer. I want to hear what you have to say. You know, give us some content. If I get some of that, then I'm probably going to continue with this channel. And I'm a very busy person. Like I said before, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I work full time. You know, I try to exercise. I take kickboxing and help train my son in kickboxing, and you know, he wants to do that for a living, so I'm really trying to support him in that. So point being, I'm a very busy person, so I don't know how much time and how often I will be able to produce a video and produce the content. But you know, if I can get a fair amount of people saying, hey, yeah, you know, I'm listening, man, I want to hear about it. You know, this is something I can relate to, and I want to hear your story. If I get a fair amount of that, then I'm going to keep going. If I don't really get any response, I may not do it. I don't know, you know, or I may just use this as my own personal diary, and to kind of help me, you know, document my process in becoming clean. And then I may just not even post anything on YouTube, but I will see. But anyway, I appreciate you guys listening, and I will tell you, there are a lot of juicy details to come that extend to and beyond just drug use. There are a lot of things that are associated with the drug use that people are going to say, what has this got to do with drug use? This is, you know, this is promiscuity is what this is. But they're one and the same. They really are, because drug use can cause people to make, if you didn't know this, drug use can make people to cause people to make poor decisions, you know, and I'm no exception to that, and I did a lot of that, especially in my younger days. So I'm going to talk about all that. So, you know, like and subscribe, drop a comment, and let me know if this is a channel you're interested in. All right, appreciate you guys checking me out. Hopefully see you next time. Peace.